Welcome back to the lab. It is your old Professor Pilk, and of course, we're coming back with more Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Now, over the past week, I built 4 Pokemon that I felt really confident were going to be good in this raid. And it actually turns out that the one that I had the most confidence in, one that I had the least confidence in, but I thought would be really fun to build, turned out to be really good for this. That Hisuian Zoroark, I had a great time running that. I've run it several times. It has been an absolute blast. Now, we had 3 other Mon that we built, so we're going to test them out today and see how these builds stand up and, you know, just in general, how other ways we can do solo runs on this raid. Now, also, I will say, if you guys have builds, a couple of you guys have clued me in on some builds that you've been doing. If you have builds that you've been using for the raid, just put them in the comment section down below. We'll test them out, especially if they're solo builds, would be the best. Frankly, the easiest to test, but also not everyone's online, so I really do like solo builds. Plus, let's face it, how many people haven't gotten into a Tera Raid, had someone bring completely the wrong Mon, and just get everyone wasted. It's just not a lot of fun. So, if we could focus on solo builds, that'd be the greatest, but put your build down in the comments, and I'll pick a few, and I will test them out on tomorrow's video. But for now, let's get in and let's test out Gholdengo, because I think this is another one that has a huge probability of success. So we've pretty much already talked about the Gholdengo build. This is an easy one. The build pretty much is Metal Sound, Nasty Plot, Make It Rain, and Recover. We will probably need Recover if I'm honest here. His Good as Gold ability will make sure that we're not really affected by any status moves or anything like that. Not that I think it's going to be a big deal, because remember, this Mon is all about, I guess, the self buff. So long as we continually keep Metal Sound in play, we'll basically do 3 Metal Sounds, Nasty Plot 3 times, then Make It Rain. We will probably then have to do Make It Rain 3 or 4 times. I've done PP up on Make It Rain, and we'll just recover whenever necessary. So let's just go ahead and jump into this match. So this Mon does not seem like the hardest Mon ever. It's pretty straightforward. The main problem, or I say problem, the main thing you have to overcome is the fact that he removes your status moves pretty quickly. But because he does buff himself, you don't really have a huge amount to worry about, so he's never going to remove his debuffs, so you can just go crazy with the debuffs. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and Metal Sound again. As soon as we get 3 Metal Sounds out, we should be pretty well good to go. Alright, we can take 1 more Earthquake, which is perfect, because we need to do 1 more Metal Sound, and then we'll do some Recovery. And this will be absolutely stellar, because basically once we get the recovery out, then we can start doing Nasty Plot. There we go. They say it's super effective, but it really didn't do a whole heck of a lot, did it? So here's our first recover. Now he should remove stats here shortly. There's Earthquake. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open up with a Make It Rain. We're just going to do one early, kind of build some Terra Orbs. He should clear stats, which is going to be really good for us, because every time he does that, he's going to lower his special attack. So basically, we're going to have to do a combo of like 2 Make It Rains and then a... there we go. So now he's got his shield up. Excellent. Okay, we're going to do a recover here. Basically, if we don't recover. We could do like we did with the other builds. And this was great. So we just nullified all of our stat changes. So we're pretty good to go. Now we can just do Nasty Plot and Make It Rain over and over and over again. Now we can already tell that he is going to spam Earthquake. So let's do a Nasty Plot. Okay. So long as he doesn't get a critical hit on Earthquake. There we go. We'll do a recover. Probably could have taken a strategic feint there just a few minutes ago. It saved us some recovery time, but I think it's fine. Okay. There's an Earthquake. We'll do another Nasty Plot. Probably should have put some PP up into recover, if I'm entirely honest here, because those Earthquakes are hurting quite a bit. But in essence, it's about the only thing you can really honestly do here. So, one more nasty plot. Remember, Gholdengo isn't necessarily going to recover any... We're not using Shell Bell. He's not going to recover any health with this. So, we are kind of on our own in this regard. So, let's go ahead and do another recover. That gives us one last recovery. It means that after this, we're on cheer heals. I think we'll be fine. There we go. Here comes Earthquake. And now we'll do Make It Rain. And it didn't do as much as I'd really hoped. But that's okay. Okay. Super effective. Let's do another Make It Rain. Bam. Now, every time he does Make It Rain, he's going to lower his special attack stat, which means we're going to have to do another Nasty Plot. He just nullified our changes, which means Nasty Plot's going to definitely be a thing again. Which means it's probably a good time to go ahead and take an acceptable feint. That way, all our stat changes are there. Everything's pretty much in play. Nothing's going to change from this part going forward. Let's see if we can do a cheer heal. See if that helps. I just kind of want to avoid fainting at all costs, but it looks like that's not really going to be an option because we are pretty much out of restores. There might be a more aggressive means by which to do this, and by that I do mean basically just taking an acceptable amount of damage here. Let's do a Make It Rain. Let's just see if we can get that shield down. Metal Coat's really putting in work. Really is putting in work. Okay. Next turn we will... Let's see. You know what? I'm just going to accept the feint. I should have accepted it long ago. That's okay. Let's go ahead and Make It Rain. And after we get our health back, we'll come back in and we'll do a Nasty Plot. This probably could have been a lot faster. He's got some other moves that are significantly stronger than even Make It Rain. So, without the deficit, so that actually might be a better option, but it is what it is. I really should have taken this this feint here earlier in the match. Basically, it's just a stat change, but it's also basically just a reset. So we'll go ahead and we'll Nasty Plot. There we go. His shield will break here in just a minute, and once that happens, we're essentially just going to be wiping him out very quickly. So another Nasty Plot. All right, if they'll break his shield, I'll basically do the finishing blow. Nasty Plot number 3. There we go. His shield should be broken now, if not pretty darn close. There we go. Shield's broken. And now we're going to Terrastalize and hit him with a Make It Rain. Now, I agree. I'm sure somebody out there is like just beside themselves. If we had Terrastalized a lot earlier, that shield would have been down probably in 2 or 3 turns. And that's the honest downside to what I did here. I should have taken that. I should have taken that feint earlier in the match, and then that way I could have Terrastalized. But I think this is going to one-shot him. Yeah, it did. So what I honestly should have done, a smarter move would have been to take the feint very early on, right after the stat change. Then I could have Terrastalized, and I could have had my Terraform throughout the match. I also do need to do some PP up on Recover, and just a little bit more aggressive, a little bit less defensive would have been really handy. But Gholdengo wiped this one out. So, there you guys go. So we just tested Gholdengo. Unfortunately, my Oranguru tests weren't really favorable. It might be doable, but it's just such a pain. Chesnaught, unfortunately, what he does is he removes your self buffs, never really removes debuffs. But the problem you've got here is that he removes all those status changes like as such frequency that building up with Oranguru just takes way too long. So the reality is Oranguru just unfortunately isn't really going to be the one. At least not in my testing. Now, if he had something like Ancient Power, that'd be a whole other ball game. Would be a little bit of a chance game, but you could eventually get it. You know, if you don't know, basically Ancient Power will increase all of your stats, and then your attack power with Oranguru will go through the roof. But the reality is, with the build that we have, it's just doesn't seem feasible. So, remember, he's not a big attacker. Stored power is about the best thing you can do with him. So, from an attack standpoint, ain't the best. Now that brings me to Decidueye. Now, Decidueye is an interesting situation here. So, we built a special attacking Decidueye. And with a grass Tera, so very different than the one that initially dropped from the Tera Raid event. Now, of course, we got Shell Bell. I'm going to do a slight change to the build we did last time. Now, the honest answer here is Decidueye's physical attack. In fact, my Decidueye has a physical attack nature, but special attack is a better strategy here with this. So, honestly, a better nature and some EV training, which I actually haven't done, unfortunately, would help this mon out quite a bit. But I have a feeling that I know enough about this raid now to actually be able to do this with Decidueye. So let's go take a look here real quick. So jumping into the battle, the main thing that we're going to pay attention to here is just getting early nasty plots, because that will help us build our defenses up. Now, the downside is because we don't have any debuffs in this team. I would have loved to have used Energy Ball here, but just it wasn't in the cards. He's got Bulletproof, so Energy Ball is ineffective, which ain't fun. But Nasty Plot should give us enough defenses that, you know, by the time we get two of these out, we're going to be wiping him completely out, and we're going to be healing enough with our Shell Bell, plus a lot of his special attacks are going to be, just all the wind is going to be taken out of his sails. So we'll do a second Nasty Plot. Now, we're going to do Nasty Plot a lot, because he's going to remove all of our stats 3 times over. So, or twice? I think twice, actually. One here at about turn 4, turn 5, and one again, I want to say, we do 2 Nasty Plots, and we do Grass Terrain. But I want to say turn 4, turn 5, and then he'll do it again somewhere about halfway, a half-life. Oh my, he hit me with a critical hit? Okay, that's rude, first of all. We survived with 2 health. Good grief. So now I'm going to do a Giga Drain. Now, the nice part is we're set up here. So Giga Drain will take a ton of his health away. It'll do a ton of damage. It'll also heal us up quite a bit. We'll get probably about half health. We'll get probably about full health. Now, the honest answer here, I'd get a lot more health. Let's do a Grass Knot and see what kind of damage that does in comparison. So they're going to be pretty close. With the weight of the Pokemon that we're fighting, Grass Knot will be about a base power level 80, and Giga Drain is about a base power level 75, so they're really, really, really close in power. And like I said, Energy Ball being a power 90 with a debuff would have been nice, but because he has Bulletproof, ain't gonna work. And it really stinks. I really wanted that to work. We originally built this with Grass Pledge, and I think I mentioned this before, but the biggest issue with Grass Pledge was simply that Wait, we don't need any healing here, so I'm going to go ahead and do a Grass Knot. Oh, no. He is going to nullify our stat changes. So now we are going to need to do 2 Nasty Plots. 3 if we can get them off, but at least 2 before we start healing again. There we go. We really need 2 to kind of save ourselves from his attacks, because his attacks will hurt a lot. And if we can get those off before he does anything major, we'll be in good shape. So here comes Stone Edge. It'll hurt. Dude, with that critical hit, man. He is just a crit machine. Does Stone Edge have an increased crit chance? I didn't think it did, but I could be wrong on that. I must be wrong on that. I have to look it up. I'm going to assume it does. Oh. How did Giga Drain not take priority? Giga Drain usually takes priority. That was a weird one. Nevertheless, we've got some health back. Shell Bell will give us a little bit more with that. The grassy terrain is gone, So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to Terastallize and do Giga Drain one more time. And then we'll replace Grass Drain, do one more Nasty Plot, and then we'll wear him down. I just don't want to waste too much time. And, you know, without Grassy Terrain, we're not doing the kind of damage we want to do. Plus, like I said, we've only got 2 Nasty Plots. We need the third. So, well, I guess we don't need the third, because he's going to nullify changes here shortly. But it would be nice to get that damage out. Okay, here comes the Terastallized Giga Drain. And we should be back to pretty close to full health, if not completely full. Oh yeah, look at that. Very nice. Very, very nice. We'll set up Grassy Terrain. He will nullify changes here shortly, so actually I think I'm going to stick with my 2... A third critical? What are the bloody odds? Alright. And he is moving first. I don't know why he's moving first. Normally he goes after me. Let's do a Giga Drain. Fingers crossed. Okay, thankfully Arm Hammer didn't absolutely just annihilate me. Let's go. Somehow I must be slower than I've been in the past. That, or I've played it with a Mon that slowed him down, which is distinctly plausible. Because he's not a speedy Mon. That's what's shocking me here. Normally, I'm going before him. Alright. So he increased his attack. That is unfortunate. Now he's going to nullify our stat changes. So now I've got to do... I got to get 2 if not 3 Nasty Plots out. I really, really have to. There we go. If he criticals here, we're going to be... Okay, good. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Alright. Let's do another Nasty Plot. I think once we get that Nasty Plot off, he will be basically incapable of harming us, more or less. The third one is really just for the raw power. Here we go. Third one's not even about defenses. The third one is just raw, like, destructive power. Alright, so he's found that this move is now his most effective move, now that we're Terastallized. And I believe, I could be wrong, I believe that's a physical move, so we're really not defending it against it too much. But it'll be alright. Let's go. Alright, so now we can do Giga Drain. Grassy Field is not in place, so we'll need to replace that. I just noticed that. So we'll replace Grassy Terrain. And I'll just Giga Drain him to death. I mean, Chesnaught's nice and all, but at this point, Chesnaught's just kind of become the backup. In fact, let's do Grassy Terrain. Let's do a Chesnaught to kind of save some of the PP on the Giga Drain. So the Giga Drain, I'll say it becomes your DPS, but do be cautious about it, because with as often as he likes to critical here... And actually, I just happened to realize, I think I was quoting Nasty Plot as doing what Calm Mind does, and I realize now that that's not correct. It does not increasing his special defense, it's literally just increasing his attack, special attack. So, defensively, I don't think it actually did much for us, but it is what it is. Alright. His stance is broken. One good Chesnaught, and he should be, if not all the way out, pretty darn close. Ooh, that didn't do as much as I thought it did. Let's do it again. Bye-bye. Really thought that would do more damage. But there we go. Now it became super easy. It's just his stat removal makes it very, very, very difficult. But other than that, it's totally doable. The main thing is just make sure you have enough PP in Giga Drain, and then Chesnaught really handles the situation quite well. You could use Grass Pledge, but I'll be honest with you, I just don't think it's super worthwhile. So there you guys go. Like, comment, share. I'll be back with more Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and put your builds in the comments, because I'm going to try out your builds on the next video. So check that out. We'll be back with more Pokemon Scarlet and Violet here really soon.